I like it.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another great edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. We are in November 9th. This is the 51st anniversary of that blackout of 65. How many of you folks out there remember that? It was quite a day. Just a balmy one like today, but then the lights went black at 5:30, which it's about to be in about a half hour. So just bear that in mind while we're talking. And that's the last I'll mention about that. Great weather day. Now tonight, ordinarily I bring in people here on my show that most of the time people that I've never met, and they're in entertainment, filmmaking, models, beautiful girls. Don't worry, there'll be more of that. I have musicians and stuff. Well, tonight it's a little different. Tonight we're having a little retroactive show. This gentleman here, Joe Lupica, is a person I've known. I've known this guest longer than any guest I've ever had, and that even includes my own sister-in-law, who I've even now only known for 17 years. But Joe here, I've known for over 40 years, and he is a DJ. He's, I know he's got he does a lot of gigs in the area, and we're going to have a nice, talk about what he does. He was going to bring his guitar in tonight, but I think he smashed it on a rock doing a Who impersonation or something, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, good for you. Okay, and I wish I could have seen
Little Pete Townsend.
There you go. What do they say? Pinball wizard. All right. So anyway, Joe, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, my pleasure, Harrison.
Okay. So what we're going to do is now, here's the thing. Now, like I said, I've known you for a long time,
Sure.
known you since high school. And I have to say, I'm amazed that I didn't know you longer, because we both have a mutual friend that Billy Rafkin, William
Yes,
Rafkin. And he might actually, he was a classmate, he was
Good
a
guy,
Brockton High. But our families have been tight for years, too. I mean, we used to hang around as little kids, and I'm amazed that...
He lived on Doris Ave.
He lived on Doris Ave, 12 Doris Ave.
That's right.
White House. I used to go swinging on the swing
He's a good guy,
sets.
Billy. I'm friends with him on Facebook.
I know, I am too. Yeah. Well, no, actually I'm not. I'm going to be after tonight, though, because I definitely want him to see this show.
Definitely.
Okay. Now, what I do with all my guests is, even though I've known you for a long time, we're gonna get to the the high school years too.
Sure.
Now I'm gonna just say right now, you were a year ahead of me in high school, and and that's okay. It's no big deal. It's kind of cool, really. I'm obsessed with the passing of years and the fact that we're still. I mean, I'm delighted we're still here. I got to tell you, be honest with you, when we were still in high school, I never would have believed I'd lived this long. And not only live this long, be as healthy and vibrant as I am.
Yeah, 58 and 57 doesn't seem so old now.
No, it doesn't. I feel better now, because I'm a vegan too. I don't eat meat anymore.
Yeah, it's good.
And I'd recommend it to anybody. But fortunately, you're sitting here with a big leather scarf on.
And I'd steak tips for lunch.
I know. But Joe, let me ask you: when you were a kid, when you were little, I mean, you're a DJ. You're an outgoing guy. You have a lot in your mind. You're very creative. What were you like as a kid? I assume you were athletic. You were one of the boys of the hood.
I was athletic. I grew up on the north side of Brockton. A lot of kids in the neighborhood. Used to play in the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Touch, street hockey.
There you
like
go.
everyone did in those days in the 70s.
Right. And the 60s. I'm talking the 60s.
Oh, yeah,
now.
60s, yeah. When I was a small kid, sure.
Right.
Basketball, played everything outside.
Yep.
My love of music, though, really came from my three older sisters.
Cool.
They were teenagers. They're 5, 7, and 9 years older than me.
Yeah, I know.
So they would buy 45s at Zayre's or any of those places that, they would think they were 25 cents, 49 cents in those days.
As did I, yep.
Yeah, and I got my love of music from them, because they'd be playing 45s. There were 3 teenage girls.
Yep.
And we had a small phonograph like everyone did.
I got to ask you, did you have when you were say 6 or 7 years old, or even 4 or 5 years old? Did you have any favorites, any particular songs that were favorites of yours?
At that young, I didn't.
Okay.
But as I got older, the Beatles were hitting when I was 6 years old.
Me too.
And,
right.
So I Want to Hold Your Hand was one of the first songs I remember hearing.
Yep.
And acting out to it, being John Lennon to it. I
okay.
remember that. I was a very outgoing kid, as you could probably imagine. I was the only kid. I was the only son. I mean, I was the only boy.
You were the only boy?
Only boy in my family.
Okay.
3 older sisters.
Oh, what a lonely boy. End of gold, 1977.
Very good.
Oh,
End of gold.
I know.
So, but I got my love of music from them.
Okay.
And I love that period, that decade from 65 to 75. Some great one-hit wonders, some great songs.
The reason I'm asking is because speaking for myself, my very first favorite top 40 song was actually from 1964, Bits and Pieces by Dave Clark.
Oh, yeah, it's a great song.
Right,
yeah,
even though.
Tune.
And that's when I became, and I didn't even learn about the Beatles until 1966, until Sunday, May 30th of that year.
Well, like I said, having the older siblings exposed me to a lot of that great music.
Yeah, that's right.
The first album I bought, I remember I was 12, was Abbey Road.
Okay.
1970.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So,
around 70, 69, whatever.
69, yes, exactly.
So that was the first album. I knew I did buy some 45s, but I would just listen to what they had. I was a little kid, so I didn't have really any favorite songs. But my aunt used to live upstairs too, and
oh, you had an apartment?
It was a three-decker,
three-decker,
on Cherry
okay.
Street, and
Yeah.
she used to play a lot of novelty songs.
Cool.
You know, like Spike
Chantilly
Jones.
Lace and
No, even
Pretty
before that,
Face.
like from the '40s, like Cocktails for Two. And are you
Okay.
familiar with that song? It's an
I have
old
to
Spike.
admit, I haven't heard. I may have
Yeah,
known
that's
it
an
by-
old
How about
Spike.
In the Mood? Is that a
Spike-
novelty
Yeah,
song?
that's like
Okay.
that. Well, that's more of a real song. But there was these kind of crazy songs, and she
Right.
played them, and so you know, I remember those too very early.
Okay, so you basically you enjoyed the music, you loved
Sure,
it.
love music.
Yeah, well, I still do. Yeah, I mean, and it is amazing when you realize now. You know, you remember back in '74 that there's a one-hit wonder by the band Reunion. Life is a rock, but
Yeah.
the radio rolls.
Well, yeah, some great one-hit ones.
Well, that's a great one-hit wonder because they named so many bands and they did it so efficiently. And I always thought to myself, maybe I can, if I listen to that song long enough, I'll be able to sing it ad hoc verbatim by myself. Never happened.
Yeah.
And I still watch the video every now and then.
A lot of people don't know. I became a guitarist
Okay, yeah,
later in life.
okay.
We can talk about that later. But
Okay.
I always loved. I mean, when we were younger, growing up, we had sports and music in
Sure.
the '60s and '70s. That was
That was what it was about. Yeah.
That's all it was about. You know.
Okay. You lived on Cherry Street. You probably
Yeah.
knew the Gormans.
Gorman, sure.
Yeah,
Eddie
he-
Gorman, them, sure. Paul.
Tom.
Caddies for his father at Thorny Lee.
Did he play at Thorny Lee?
His father did.
His father played at Thorny
Yeah,
Lee.
oh,
Even
yeah.
though, I mean,
There's a plaque for him on the 17th tee. From
He must have met. You know, it's not a cheap membership. Thorny
No,
Lee.
in those days, though, it wasn't like it was
It is
today.
now,
but
yeah.
It was. You know, it was. It wasn't a lot of players like it is. It's pretty crowded over there now. But
Right. Ever go to a Pro-Am?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Pro-Am. We caddied in that. All the Patriots plays. It was a big deal in the
Crazy to
'70s.
say
Right?
that, 'cause
Randy Vataha.
Yeah,
and
Randy
all-
Vataha.
yeah,
But
sure.
let me tell you a story real quick.
Jim Rice. I saw Jim Rice hit a golf ball.
I spoiled Steve Grogan's putt on Friday, June 20th, 1986.
Really?
And I didn't mean to. You know how when you're putting, when somebody's putting or even driving, whatever, when somebody's addressing the golf ball,
Sure.
the idea is to zip the lip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he was standing there with the club in his hand, and the grass was tall, and he was on the green. But I looked down and I said, well, he's standing there with the club, but I don't see a ball down there. So I said, so Steve, how's the knee doing? And he goes, good. And I'm like, what's his problem? And then all of a sudden I saw the problem. The ball was there. I just didn't see it. For some reason, it was on my blind spot.
Golfers don't take too
Well, he
kindly
ended
to
up
that.
shanking the putt. So he was like 3 feet from the hole. And hopefully, maybe if I ever go to a store in Mansfield, when he sees me there, we'll have a laugh about it.
Still have that store over there?
Oh, yeah, they still have it.
Sporting Goods?
I have I got it.
Used to be was it the Marciano's place, wasn't it?
It was
on the
I don't-
corner.
Yes. I bought
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
Rocky Marciano's T-shirt with all his fights on it.
Oh yeah. I have that. That's a great one.
That's a great shirt. Yeah, I know. And I stop in there every now and then to buy stuff. But
That's pretty cool.
it is. It's great. So you've done that. So you loved. So did you play? Now let's talk about high school.
Sure.
Now in high school, I knew you in high school.
Yeah.
We played some sports.
Yeah.
I never forget Monday, June 23rd, 1975. You and I were shooting the basketball. It was the last day of school. Your junior year, my sophomore year.
Sure.
And I took.
The
You had the
memory's incredible. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's Asperger's, man, and I'm damn proud of it too. Yeah, something that wasn't even diagnosed and it wasn't even labeled until 2003.
No, it wasn't even discovered. It wasn't even
But
known.
it's actually an offshoot of autism.
Yeah.
So you could say, now I get an excuse for being a goofball. It's because the characteristics of Asperger's, and my show helps me immensely, is that you don't really socialize well with other people. And until so I really don't socialize with anybody except once a week, like I'm doing with you right now.
Oh, you're doing pretty good.
Oh, I'm doing my best. I mean, I have to look professional. I'm working on it. Again, that's therapeutic. But like I was going to say we were shooting the basketball, and I made 1 out of 10 shots, and I said, Joe, what if I made all 10? And you said, if you'd made all 10, you'd be in the pros. So I'm just
It's
saying.
amazing you can remember that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I used to go around in 1975, during that summer. Although I did have to do summer school.
Yeah.
I went around and I used to go pick up basketball games, and I'd find people to shoot around with, even though I was terrible. But it was to keep me busy, trying to lose weight because I was heavy
right.
back then. I weighed.
I do remember. Yeah, and you had that long hair too.
We all.
You still got your hair. I don't.
Well, I got to tell you, I am glad. As much as looking back on it now, my hair was so hard to manage in those days. I mean, it was
Mine's
a
low maintenance.
lampshade.
Mine's a low maintenance. A squeegee.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Mine's low maintenance too. I just go to. I mean, there are people that'll spend $30, $40 for a haircut. I'll go for $17 to Walters in Easton. I think Walters and Barbershop, and I've been going there for 10 years now almost. And
that's cool.
That's all I got to do. I just keep it neat. I'm happy. I got. They say that if you have male pattern baldness, it could lead to heart trouble. So.
I hope not.
So I'm glad I don't have it. I'm no offense. No, I mean you're all right. You're not going to have heart.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all depends. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
you know,
I do. I work on
Yeah,
it.
you're in good shape.
Yeah,
I can see that. You know,
You have to, but it's, as you get older, your blood pressure goes up. Your
not
cholesterol goes up.
necessarily. My blood pressure's 119/70.
Yours is good, but a lot of
That's
people
why you got to be.
up.
That's why it's all how you eat, man. You don't eat too much sodium.
It's definitely how you eat. It's both.
It is.
It's genetic, and it's
genetic.
50 and 50.
But if
50%.
well, let me tell you something. When I turned 50, it was a milestone for my parents because it was a milestone for all of us because neither of my parents lived long, or none of my 4 grandparents lived long enough for either of my parents to see them to turn 50. When my grandfather my final grandparent died, my maternal grandfather died in 1984. My mother was only 48. So when I turned 50, and I'm the oldest of 2, that's when that to us was a huge milestone. So quite frankly, I think that my parents are very healthy now in their 80s. So you think genetics, but my father, my mother's just turned 80 about 6 weeks ago. We had a party for her, and she looks amazingly. She looks like people look at that picture and they say she looks like she's about 35.
Yeah,
I'm serious. Right. And my father's 81, and they're both very healthy. My father, last Friday night, he went to New Hampshire to play tennis in the middle of the night with a friend of ours up there.
That's good. You got to stay. 80's not so old either now.
It isn't, exactly. That's
my uncle's
point.
81, and his wife, they're the same age.
Yeah.
They were class of 1953.
Yeah, that was my father. He probably graduated
from
Brockton High.
Yeah, probably knows him.
Probably does.
And
yeah.
my mother's brother, and they look 51.
I know.
I
think it's great.
It is.
It's great the way, but again, it's all.
We get some of those genes, huh?
Yeah, it's not just. I mean,
it's half.
Yeah,
it's half.
I tell
lifestyle too.
Yeah,
I agree
it's
with
true. It's just work. You work out and everything, and And all right, now let's talk about. I want to talk about you. Now when did you decide that you were going to eventually start this business of DJing?
Well, a lot of people. I mean, in high school.
Yeah.
We
love the music.
I love music.
Love the when they play. Loves You Like
Aerosmith. I love Aerosmith. Was and I'd listen to the radio, of course, and we listened to Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Aerosmith and bands like that. That's what we listened. That's what I listened to when I was a teenager,
right?
Early teenager, and I always wanted to play an instrument,
right?
And I didn't really stop playing until the summer after we graduated.
Oh, after you guys graduated, you graduated in '76,
right? So that summer, I said I'm going to learn to play guitar.
Cool.
And I bought an old, crappy beginner's guitar, and I started learning to play. And I practiced that whole summer.
Did you read a book, or did you have someone teach you?
Ted Valley. It was on West Elm Street.
Okay, I know the street. I don't know the band. I don't know the person.
His son plays in a band still.
Oh, is his son Steve Valley?
Not Steve Valley.
Steve Valley was
he's a left-handed bassist. I can't remember his first name.
It's probably not the same.
Yeah, it's not Steve Valley, but it's I can't think of his first name. But he plays with remember the old Baby Grand.
Okay.
With Kiki and the teachers. He played with them. He was a bass player. Then I heard the bass. I started taking lessons over here. A small shop near the Hotel Bryant, across from it almost.
West Elm Street.
Yeah.
I got mugged there August 22nd, 1970. It was a Saturday. But go on.
Yeah, that's not a great name.
I digress. It's not. No, it's not. But it's still there.
So I started playing bass.
Okay.
Too, and because of McCartney, and I played along with records, and I took lessons, and I just played all that summer because I worked for the city that summer, but a lot of free time, and
cool.
My sisters had all moved up.
You hadn't got, now you went to BSC, right, which is now BSU, right in the fall of '76.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So between between high school and your first day of your freshman year at BSC, that's when you did all this.
That's right.
Played your music. You started it.
Right.
Okay, that is interesting. You were a late bloomer for.
I was very late. Yeah, but I've always wanted to play.
Of course.
And between just different things and different interests, but I said. That summer, I want to learn how to play.
Okay.
And so I did, and a couple of years we were pretty bad. And I got my friend Steve Papadopoulos, who's my best friend.
I know.
Yeah, the Taylor.
When you say bad, you mean you were good bad, right?
Yeah, well, we were bad. You were a bad boy. Every musician who starts out. No, I mean playing.
Oh, you just tell you sucked.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
I know we sucked, but we were bad.
All right.
So we played in the cellar a lot. Yeah. We'd say the same songs over and over again.
Okay, better than disturbing the neighbors, right?
So he played guitar, and he was better than me. So I played bass.
Okay.
And so we just, and then we got a few other people. And we just hacked around. We just kind of a cellar.
You did have a band eventually. And
I did.
Didn't you once?
About 2 years later.
Okay, go on.
When we got to college.
Okay.
I had a girlfriend then. She was from Hanover, and her name was Paula Kelly, and she was an excellent musician.
Cool.
Classically trained.
What did she play? Or sing?
She sang.
She sang?
And she could play flute and piano.
Cool.
Really talented.
Yep, but not all at once.
No,
sing and play the flute.
No, she wasn't a one-man.
Right. She only had 6 vocal cords, not 12.
Right, but she was very talented.
Yeah, I know.
We started playing, and I was my sophomore year, junior year, BSC, which is BSC, as you know, in those BSU. And So we just, we got a band, and we played a few gigs, and we went to
When you say a few gigs, are you talking about at the school, or did you?
Yeah, we played. I played
clubs?
2 or 3 times. Yeah, we did a few clubs
cool,
down
okay.
in. There was a place down actually in Raynham we played.
Right here in
it was
great
the
old
old Mr. Capiello owned it from Brockton. I forget Escapades.
Okay.
The old Escapades, which was down on 138.
Okay.
Played there. We did 2 or 3 gigs at the school. We did a fashion show. In those when you starting out, you'd play for no money. You just to start because you want to get your chance, and we got pretty good.
Yeah.
Some good musicians, and her brother joined the band. We got a drummer that we knew, Buddy Hargrove, was a great drummer. And
yeah, I know that name.
Yeah, he's from Brockton. He's from Elm Street. And we just started like that. So we got pretty good.
Yep.
Played some gigs and
paid eventually.
Huh? Yeah, we did
good
some paid gigs. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Played some in college, and then we kept playing through.
Yep.
And then we went our separate ways. My girlfriend, 20 years old, 22.
I know.
So then we quit that band, and then joined some other bands.
Right.
Playing. Just we used to look in the magazines in those days, and there's a whole bunch of the beat magazines. People always looking for
no kidding. I didn't know that.
And then at work with my day job, which I worked for the state.
Because this was the 20th century. There was no internet.
No phone. No, it was all paper. It was
much
all
easier today to do it. Right.
The Beat magazine was a big a publication around Boston.
Yeah.
About local bands. And
wow.
There was a ton of. There was probably. And the drinking age was 18, as you know.
Yes, I do know.
The clubs were always packed, and you could get gigs. It was much easier than it became.
Sure.
When they raised the drinking age to 21.
Right.
And so I played in a bunch of different little bands in those days.
You did something on Halloween in 1986, because I remember you posted
that
on Facebook.
That was in summer of that. Then, like I said, I met up with these 2 guys from my day job.
Okay.
Bob Grasso, he was originally from Saugus.
Okay.
He was a good guitar player. He'd gone to BU on a music scholarship.
Sure.
And I played bass, and this other guy who worked there for a singer, Dana Dodge, who was from the Haverhill area.
Cool. Yep.
And then we got a drummer, and we were kind of like Spinal Tap in those days. We played with a lot of drummers. They kind of kept blowing up. So.
Well, what do you mean blowing up?
Well, we kept lose. Yeah, we couldn't keep them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
it's tough to get a good drummer.
I have drummers are a different breed. They're a different breed.
I had right, they are. And I had a band in here called My Mother's Mustache.
I've heard of that.
Right. Oh yeah, they're really good. Yeah. And they had 3 guys all in guitar, but they're still looking for a drummer. They played in here, and they were wonderful.
Yeah, I played with a lot of good drummers. Buddy was one of the best drummers I played with, but he ended up going to the Air Force, and so I played in a bunch of bands for like 10 years. We got pretty good. We used to play in Boston. We played all the clubs.
Wow.
We got pretty good. We were a good party, like a frat band.
Well, you would have been. The reason here's the thing. Now, what I was going to say, what I told you before we started is that over the weekend I was at 2 parties that you would have been great at, either playing or DJing at.
What was it?
Well, I'm going to tell you. Well, now, see, my show is great because I interview a lot of filmmakers and actors, and I'm sort of in the loop now in the local acting scene because I get invited to a lot of events like parties for filmmakers. Now, Saturday I was in Providence for the Bleed for This promo film premiere for Vinny Paz.
Sure.
Right.
Well, the movie just
the movie just came out. Sure. That's where the premiere was. Right. I was there. I was invited. I got a special VIP invitation. It was great. And I thought, Vinny and I've known Vinny I met him at an event a bunch of years ago, so we had a nice, rap.
Amazing story.
It is an amazing story. I met him on December 12th, 1991, at a fight at the Taunton Galleria Ballroom. That was a Thursday, by the way. Right. My brother used to promote boxing, and these were guys that my brother...
Taunton Ballroom?
Yes.
Yeah, they had a lot of fights down there.
They did. And So we
had in Brockton High too. Remember?
What's that? They had fights at Brockton High.
Yeah, Marvin Hagler fought.
Well, I remember. I remember at Brockton High.
He was starting out, He
did. I did not know. You're talking about the old high school, or the current one?
No, the new high school.
No way.
Yeah.
I remember the riot we had back on November 6th and 7th in 1975. That was like 41 years ago this week.
Some people say those were staged to get out of school, but
that's what happened. We actually remember that we would on Thursday, November 6th, and Friday, November 7th. My junior year, your senior year, there was some kind of I don't know what it was. It became out of control. I was watching safely from Ed Shea was down there. Remember Ed Shea?
Yeah.
He was in your class, right? Yeah. And this was Friday, November 7th, 1975. And they were scuffling, and Mr. Reagan, the principal, got pushed in the door. And what happened was they ended up canceling school on Monday the 10th, and we ended up getting a 4-day weekend because the 11th was Veterans Day.
Yeah. I do recall that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not an uncommon occurrence in those days.
Right. Well, anyway, getting back to the parties I went to. So I went to that party on Saturday at this place called Ariel's in Providence, and you would have been great there. It had a wonderful dance floor, a lot of good tunes. No DJ though.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah.
That was
band. What's that? There was no band. No, they were
Really?
just playing recorded music. But you could have
Really?
you could have been there spinning them, spinning the discs, and doing some like MCing, like
Right,
you do
right,
when you
right.
do
Yeah,
your.
sure.
That was Saturday. Sunday, I went to the Boston Casting 25th anniversary party. You ever heard of Boston Casting?
No, what's that?
Okay, well I'll tell you what it is. Boston Casting is a company in Boston which gets people movie roles, and it's got me some stuff too. I've been an actor. I've been in a bunch of things from my show. I've been in several short films. I was actually an extra in 2 major films. I was in Shutter Island. I played a mental patient, a role I was born to play.
Typecasting?
No, real. I played typecasting, exactly. Well, I worked with Martin Scorsese directly.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty cool.
Back on March 13th of 2008 at the old Medfield State Hospital.
Oh yeah, I heard that was creepy.
It is creepy because it's a totally condemned property, a condemnable property. It's like the bricks are falling out, the windows are smashed, but the people in the town treat it like a shrine for events like this.
They say it's haunted too.
It might be haunted. Well, let me tell you something. When I got there, when they prepped me for the role, and they had me handcuffed and foot shackled and led me across the floor the day that they did it. But the night before, they actually pulled me into. They had me talk to this therapist who said, "Listen, I'm going to tell you how to act crazy." And I said, "Sir, you don't have to tell me how to act crazy. I've been seeing shrink since I was 4 years old. I got all these. I got Asperger's. Dude, you don't have to. I know I can handle it. They wouldn't have called me in to do this role if they think I needed to be briefed. And don't worry about that. I got it down, my friend."
So did you make the movie?
I did make the movie. In fact, with
I haven't seen it. I'll have to check that out.
You really have to squint your eyes hard to see me at the beginning. I'm in that yard scene at the beginning. We did that scene in the summer. We did 2 scenes. DiCaprio looked at me like he thought I was the real McCoy. That was my second movie. My first one was Amistad back in 1997. But Boston Casting got me a role when I went down. You ever see that TV show, it's a game show, Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel?
Oh, sure, of course.
Okay, they taped that in Waterbury, Connecticut. And they got me this role as a member of the paid studio audience, which was fun. I got $100 for watching this guy win $35,000. I would have much preferred to be the contestant, but it was something to do. It was September 9th of September 11th of 2009, and it was a Friday. And so Boston Casting, I'm on their mailing list, and there's a woman named Angela Perry who runs it, and a lot of my guests that I have on my show have gotten roles from Boston Casting. So they invited me, and they had it was at a place called on Warrington Street in Boston in the theater district. I don't know the name of the place. I didn't see the sign. But it was kind of cool. I felt like a VIP. They let me in even though I was wearing shorts because I was invited in the dress. They didn't say there was any dress code. Right. They just said don't smell bad. I don't think I smelled. I met a pretty girl there, and we hit it off pretty well. Nice. Her mother thinks I'm really nice.
So Amistad, did you make it into the final cut too?
Let me tell you about Amistad. I got fired from Spielberg, and I tell the story every now and then. And I'll tell you why I got fired, because I was cast as a member of the House of Representatives in 1839. Now, this was totally his fault. And on March 22nd, 1997, it was a Saturday. That's the day they were doing the scene at the State House. So Spielberg we had the scene where John Quincy Adams, played by Anthony Hopkins, was dozing off in the chambers. And it was really wild when we got there. I went to Newport, Rhode Island on Monday, March 17th, on St. Patrick's Day of 1997 to get my wardrobe fitting. And when everybody, all those people in the 20th century changed into the 19th century wardrobes, it really did transfer the world around here. It's amazing. So, but I'm sitting there.
He's a great actor, too.
What's that?
He's a great actor.
He is a great actor, but everybody else in there was an extra. So
he's nasty in there. He's mean in that.
What's that?
Isn't Anthony? He's mean in that.
Well, not in my. No. Well, he'll tell you, Spielberg was mean because, well, he explained what happened. So he's like, all right, everybody. You're looking at him and you're wondering what's wrong. Why is he going to sleep? So we inquires to his well-being. And I said, how you doing? Are you okay? And he said, and Spielberg singled me out. He pointed at me and he says, hey, you idiot, they didn't say okay back in 1839. Like, I should have known the jargon. Here I was, 37 and a half. I'd never done a movie before. And all of a sudden he forgets that, tell everybody, don't talk like it's the 20th century. I mean, it's an easy mistake to make.
No one would even think that.
Right, exactly. No. And he's a perfectionist, and he fired me.
Sure.
Yeah, he didn't fire me.
But you could say you were fired by one of the greatest directors of our time.
Totally. Yeah, I know, but he's you know what hole, I hate to say it.
But all those guys are, though.
But no, they're not. Martin Scorsese is the exact opposite. He's a real good guy.
Well, that's good.
As a matter of fact, let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with Sarah Silverman, the comedian?
Yeah, she's a cousin.
She's my cousin, right.
Yes.
I have a lot of cousins.
I like her stuff.
I like her stuff, too. Well, let me tell you, on the scene of Shutter Island, when I was the girl that played the nurse that was escorting me across the floor in handcuffs and foot shackles told Scorsese that I was Sarah's cousin. He said, "Oh, I see the family resemblance." Now, how cool is that?
That was cool.
Now, that guy.
Hey, he seems like a good guy.
He is a good guy. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be a, what.
But someone of Spielberg's magnitude is going to be.
No, you don't have to have that. You don't have to have a jerk.
You shouldn't, but a lot of them are, don't you think?
Right. Well, maybe.
You know better than I do.
I only met
You've
two.
met more, but I mean, a famous person like that.
Well, they don't. Yeah, but they don't have to be. In fact, we'll put it this way: if he had been nice about it, if he'd said, "And by the way, talk like it's the 19th century." The reason he fired me was because I probably cost him 10 grand. He would have been an easy cut and print if it wasn't for me. He had to redo the scene.
He had to redo it, yeah.
So I'm saying you don't have to be a jerk to be a good.
No, but a lot of them are, don't you think?
Right, exactly. Well, maybe so. I've only met two. I met Spielberg and I met Scorsese, and they're the exact opposite in personality. Hey, but Scorsese's Italian, so you should be proud of that. Right?
100%.
Yeah, he's Italian style. He's a good guy, and he was so nice to me that day.
Right.
And I'll always be grateful for that. So anyway, so what I'm saying is, you would have been great at those parties. You would have been great doing DJing. So what I'm going to do from now on is that when people that I get invited to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to
let me know if I'm
going to let them know about you.
Definitely,
I can't guarantee they'll hire you, but at least.
No, I appreciate that.
Okay. Now, I got to ask you something. Now, last year you did a gig up in Ipswich. It was I don't know what it was, but it was like
a wedding.
It was a wedding, and
it was last July.
It was July of 2015. And I remember you showed some pictures.
July 11th.
Oh, July 11th to 20th. Okay, it was a week after.
Yes, it was 2015. Yeah, it was a beautiful place.
It was a beautiful place.
Yeah,
was it a private home or was
it? No,
it?
it was Ipswich Country Club. It's a golf course.
I lived there.
Yeah. Oh, it's a gated community
That's
in the
why I
middle of
lived
Ipswich. And how exclusive it is. The houses inside are about 900,000, and the ones outside are about 500,000 on the other side of the wall.
I know.
Beautiful golf course.
I'm surprised they're not more in the millions.
I do about 10 or 12 weddings a year.
Right.
And it was actually a guy at work, his son, who also works there, and it was a really good wedding. It was a lot of fun. And that wedding went to 1, which is very rare these days. Usually they're over 10 o'clock, 11.
Good.
A lot of places won't stay open anymore.
I'm sure you got paid more because of that. They must have tipped you beautifully.
He did. He did. And there was no problem with that. And but it was a beautiful place. And, that was with the purple up lighting.
Yeah, the purple, not tacky looking purple, but beautiful.
That was beautiful. And Craig, his son, the groom, he was an excellent kid.
Okay.
And that was a good night.
How did you end up getting that gig?
I worked with his father.
Okay, you worked with his father.
Yeah, and actually him too, but not in the same area. But he works there too, the son.
Right.
So you got to meet a couple times with weddings. Weddings are much more, a lot more work.
Well, the more work than just doing it like a club scene.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah.